welcome to all my trick or treat friends. Or shall I say, hollow pin friends. Very cool. Oh, yes, yes. It is soon be that perfect day for each and every one of you to be ready for the beyond. Get your costumes ready. Enjoy the festivities. We only live once, my friends. Enjoy life. Be simple. Be humble. Be who you are. A pin enthusiast. So let me introduce you to my pin carry for the week, in which I will do an update review on these pins that I've been carrying to see how the pin works throughout the days ahead of time. And may I introduce the first one?
This is the Tactile Turn Gist.
Yes, a lovely pin, done one at a time. It's a pin that, for some, they automatically think, oh, another one of those. But I have to disagree, because this pen is exceptional. If you heard my review and you still don't believe it, then maybe you should try one. I wasn't given the pen. I bought the pen. And, I am really honest when I do a review on any pen. And this pen really has impressed me. Yes, we all are different with different likes and different opinions, and you're welcome to yours as I am with mine, my fine friends. But anyway, this is the lovely pen. I do really like the pen. It may be simple to some, but it's elegant to others and affordable. That's one. So while I'm thinking about this, let me grab a pen holder for now. And I'll just turn it around. Better? Yes. All right, the next one is the Lamy Lux. Really nice. And my next one is the Sheaffer Triumph. Nice pins. And coming in next is the Fountain Pen Revolution Himalaya with an extra fine nib. Once again, it is the Lamy Safari with an extra fine nib. And let's go with nostalgia a little bit with some vintage Sheaffer student pens. This one's around between the 50 and 60 years it was brought out. And then here is another Sheaffer student pen. And I'm hearing this one's around the 60 to 70s it was produced. And yet one more. A solid cover Sheaffer student pen. And they're saying around, again, the 70s, maybe the 60s it was put out. But I can remember this pen, especially when I was going to school. Next but not least, the wonderful, dependable Kaweco Sport. I bet you haven't seen this for a while. And this wonderful writer, the Little Prince with a fine nib. And this nib on this pen is exceptional. Smooth, wet just like I like my pens. Not done yet. With the wonderful Nibison Singularity, the walnut color. And another Nibison, and this is the gunmetal, I believe. And last but not least, the Nibison Nickel Fusion.
Fission.
So this is a fission, and I believe this is also last with the fission. So this is it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13 pens right now. 13 great groovy pens that I've been using consistently. And where do I log my pens in? Well, I use my Traveler's Notebook. And I have in here the Goulet Tomoe River paper, 52 Gs. And I put in here the day, the month, the date, the year, and the name of the pen, nib, and the ink. So I started logging in my pens in the month of May of 2019. So that's how I track my pens and inks, which will help me a lot. I can go back and reference check when was the last time I used a pen and see how many times I've used that pen. Also, I can check what ink I used. And to me, it's really important on the inks. I want to see which is the most popular ink that I've been using for months. So I'll just go back and see, first of all, check on the pens. I'll get one pen and see, well, how many times did I use it in May, June, July, August, September, and October, and same with the ink. And that will tell me a whole lot on what pen and ink I've used. And to me, it's helpful. Hopefully, next week I'll be getting a new system that I can track my pens and inks better. So when that comes in, I will show you that from the Pen Think store, in fact. When I do my mail call, I'll show you what it's like. So I will be entering all these pens and inks, maybe just in using one pen, but that may defeat the purpose. I'm still debating to see if I will just leave this like it is and start fresh. Not sure yet. But now with the second part, let me, my friends, show you again how these wonderful pens really write. Bear with me. I always like to do updates on my pens to see if I'm still going to have that same liking for that pen. Am I going to have more of a liking to that pen or less? So here we go. Number one on the list. And and they're not in the order that makes one better than the order. So it's no particular order. Here we go with the first one that I picked up. Okay. Nice wet pen. I like that. And not very wet. And this is about out of ink. And I've inked it up a couple of times already. And let me see. Oh, it's got a little bit left. Let's see if I can get what's left in here. It's just about out of ink, so I just went ahead and gave it the rest of the ink it had left in the cartridge. So where am I? It has started back up. Okay. There we go. Remember, I just primed the feed so it's really, really wet. And this, my friends, is a medium nib. Noodler's. Army Green. And we'll do some wetness here. It's going to be wet and juicy, I'm telling you. Yep. You know, Noodler's puts out some really nice colors. I really do enjoy the Noodler's inks a lot. And they're really affordable as well. And number 3. And make sure I get this right. This is the graphite, not the gunmetal that I thought it was when I was mentioning the names. I apologize. 5 nib. And then the ink I'm using. And this is the, what, point? Okay, this is the turquoise. I've had this ink for a while and I forgot I even had it. Till I saw it, they inked the pen up. And this has some wetness to it. Lovely pen though, nice pens. All right. Lovely writer. I really enjoy this pen. And this has a fine nib. And we'll do over here. And this is diamine. Blue black. I'm sorry. My My mind got to wandering there. And witness. Nice wet pen. Paper. Rhodia dot. I'm sorry, Rhodia pad. Plain sheet. I like these a lot. And I think they're great for when I do the pen reviews. Number 5. Trying to find the dates on these as well. Okay. Nice little rider, I think. Very nice little rider. Writes really well. And it has a nice wet nib on it. Now we're going to go into some vintage. Okay, here is the Sheaffer. Make sure I get that nib right. 304, I believe. Oh, this is the fine nib. Okay. All right. It has a fine nib, but I really do enjoy this pen. I call it the Sheaffer Student Pen because I cannot find the original name that came out with this pen. And this is a fine nib. And the ink. And we did a little wet. It should be, yep, has a nice wetness to this nib. Here is another Sheaffer's. Now these are the type that reminds me more back when I was in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And this is the red one. Okay, and this one is the, looking at the nib, this is the 304 nib. With the transparent barrel. And the nib is a 304. And I still have yet to find out why they were putting 304s on the nib instead of the letters. I'm thinking this pen could be a fine nib, but you know, I don't really know. It does have an interesting nib on it. I do like the way the wings are, you know, so could it be flex? It does have a bit of variation when you put a bit of pressure on it. And last but not least, student pen. I've had, believe it or not, I've had one of the each color, the green, the red, and the blue. I remember those very clear. And I need to put the ink on this one here in a minute. I'll go back and do that. And this one is a fine nib, okay. And these pens, I got them on eBay, and they don't cost a lot of money at all, and they're just a lot of fun to use. I enjoy them a lot, and it has a nice wetness to it. And that's the Pelikan dark green. So let me go back to the Schaefer. It's a red one, I believe. Yes, it is. Okay. And this one is the Mont Blanc. James Dean Rebel Red. Red, okay. Yes, there we go. Alrighty, my friends. Moving along. Looking at my notes real quick. Lamy Safari with an extra fine nib. And the ink on it Monteverde Sapphire. Another nice blue ink. And now we're going to go to the number 10, the FPR Himalaya. And this is with an extra fine nib. And the ink I'll be using Mont Blanc Midnight Blue. Nice nib. Nice wet nib on the Himalaya with the extra fine nib. I was impressed with that. All right. Looking for the next one here. Let me get this one started because this one is just about out of ink. So let me check. Yeah, I believe this little baby is just about gone. So let's just say this one is no longer. It has ran out of ink for the 4th time. Believe it or not, I've used it for some time now. So we're going to go to the last one. Here comes one of my sweet babies. They're all my babies, so you know how that is when you use your fountain pens. The Lamy LX with a medium nib. And the ink, my friends, is Lamy. I do like a lot of the new colors of the Lamy inks that came out. Check for wetness here. Nice nib. Has a nice wetness to it. I'll turn these over so you can see. So, there you have it. This is my pen carry for the week or however long they will last, because like this one, I enjoyed it so much I really inked it up a lot and used it. So what happens next after I wash it out, I'll put it in the pen drawer and it's going to rest. And after all these pens get used up, I will probably bring one of these back, or the black one, and use my ink converter. I'm going to put it in there and use 2 of the 4 back. But anyway, after I get through using the pens, clean them, and I'll put them up. Then I'll get me another batch of pens. It depends, 12, maybe 24. And how I do it, I'll do an update review to see how the pen is working still, and if I still am liking the pen as much as I did before or less. But I like to give all my pens on rotation to keep them in use. I really like all my pens. There is one pen that I'm looking for that I must be honest with you, I hate it. Totally despise it. I mean, truly frustrated. A worthless piece of junk. Yep, you heard me say it, and I'm okay with it. When I find the pen, I'll tell you the name of the pen. And for those who've been watching my reviews, you'll understand my frustration because the pen just doesn't write. It doesn't even fill up with ink. And I've done everything I can that possibly write for the pen, but it's a piece of junk. And I'm going to destroy it on my video. Put it to rest. Put it out of its misery to help me move on. That's the first pen I ever disliked so much. I mean, I like the way it looks. I like the size of the pen. I like everything about the pen but the nib. It just doesn't write and doesn't fill with ink. No, it doesn't have a bag. Yes, I've done everything you can imagine to it. It just refuses to write. So, nombre Patris, nombre Santos, I will give it its final resting place. Kabowie! Folks, that's it for my pen carry for the week or longer. And stay watching for some updates on these pens. And I'll be bringing a new batch out soon for you. Until then, trick or treat is coming closer and closer and closer. Enjoy. Be ready. Just because we're older now doesn't mean we can't have fun. I love Halloween. Love Thanksgiving, and I'm nuts about Christmas. Take care. Be safe. And remember, do not text and drive, please. And before I go, one last look at all these cool pens. Bye-bye, my friends. Be safe.